There are more than 7,000 people living with Alzheimer's right here in Dane County. This morning, we're hearing the very personal story of one man who recently lost his mom to the disease and how you can help families like theirs this weekend.
And we're also learning more about how the record-breaking rainfall is continuing to impact farmers.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good Friday morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this October 4th. I'm Josh Sprider alongside meteorologist Hattie McLean. Leah has the morning off. You're going to step outside this morning, and it's going to be a little cold. I think she just wanted to stay in bed because it's so chilly out there.
To sleep in. Yes, she did. It is definitely chilly outside, especially when you consider that we were in the 70s and 80s earlier this week. I know, we're down in the 40s. We have had some clouds move into the Madison area, though, so that is actually keeping our temperatures up just a little bit, but starting to see those first 30s on the map in the Dells. Last hour down to 38 degrees, now at 39. Pretty chilly there. Monroe is at 42, and Platteville's now down to 41. So it really depends on where the clouds are this morning. If you are under clear skies, temperatures are likely a couple of degrees colder than what we have here in Madison. Temps through the day will climb back into the upper 50s, though. We have a light east-northeasterly wind. We should see partly sunny skies through the afternoon with a high of 57 degrees. So not a bad day at all. At least there isn't any rain in the forecast today. Nothing should impact your travel this morning here in Madison, but there are still road closures due to the flooding in southwestern Wisconsin. Highway 23 in Darlington is closed. Highway 78 is looking at some closures as well near Blanchardville. But as I mentioned, here in Madison, travel's still looking pretty good. Starting to slow down on Highway 51 as you approach the Beltline, Stoughton Road. Otherwise, we're not looking at any major delays. Drive time's still normal for this time of the morning.
I've seen a lot of people on social media talking about how they had to bite the bullet and turn on the heat. I have not had to do that yet.
I didn't do that because I had the air conditioning on 2 days ago.
I know.
So I just added an extra blanket.
Fall in Wisconsin where you can get everything in 1 week.
That's true.
All right, Hattie, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Breaking news overnight, school bus routes will continue as scheduled this morning after a bus barn fire started late last night. The fire happened on Schuster Road right off of US 14 in the town of Dunn just before midnight. The barn and buses are a total loss this morning with more than $300,000 in damage, but arrangements were made for all required bus routes today. Students in Darlington are getting another day off of school this morning as Darlington police say they don't expect to open the Main Street Bridge until midnight Saturday. Right now, the water from the Pecatonica River is receding, but it's moving slower than they'd like. The bridge is the main access point from one side of the city to the other, which means closing it is causing headaches for business owners like Ann Hasty, whose normal 5-minute commute turned into an hour.
I was calling in some of our staff that are high school students thinking they have the day off. Well, it really comes down to who lives on what side of the river, and half of them live on the other side of the river, so there was no opportunity.
Police say people may be tempted to drive or walk through these floodwaters, but drivers should stay away from the area. Business owners aren't the only ones struggling with the flooding. Farmers are being delayed from harvesting. 2019 has been a wet year, which has thrown off the entire timeline for crops. The late start they got in planting crops this spring is now starting to come full circle. Farmer Scott Fleming says it's all about finding the right time to get the job done.
There are a lot of concerns with the late harvest. The one obviously is soil conditions and compaction and all the harvest troubles associated with the moisture. But then we also get grain quality affected and yield loss through the rain. The corn could rot in the field or start germinating in the husks, and we lose yield and quality.
Fleming says with quality reductions comes a financial loss. He says recent storms brought them 3 inches of rain in Rock County. He's hoping that in about a week and a half, the crops will be dry enough to begin harvesting. 6:04 is your time now. Police say the suspect in a shooting that left 1 person dead and 2 others injured near Wausau is expected to make his first court appearance today. The investigation started with a fire at around 8:15 in the morning yesterday in an apartment complex in Schofield. About 15 minutes later, the shooting was reported at a cemetery just a mile away. Police say the 2 incidents are connected. Officials aren't identifying the suspect at this time, but say he is a former cemetery employee and lived on the street where the fire happened. The victims in this case are employees or relatives of employees at the cemetery. A Milwaukee man is admitting to torturing and burning a child with a lighter repeatedly nearly 2 weeks ago because he was mad at the boy's mom for not picking up her phone. George Harrell says his 2-year-old son Mello was being watched by Lamont Powell, who is an acquaintance of the mom. Powell was now facing 3 felony charges related to child abuse and neglect. A medical exam determined the burns were extremely painful and may cause infection and lifelong scarring.
He took an open flame and held it up under his armpit. He took it held it to his stomach, an open flame. He took it and held it to his face, an open flame. This man sat there burning him just like, he tortured my son.
Right now, Harrell is focused on his son's healing both physically and emotionally. The Columbia County man seen on dashcam video kicking a Portage police officer in the head is set to be sentenced today. 22-year-old Jacob Hellenbrand Bell pleaded no contest to a felony charge of battery to a law enforcement officer back in June. The incident itself happened in April of last year. Hellenbrand Bell and Olivia Boomsma were seen hitting and kicking officers while they were being handcuffed. Hellenbrand Bell kicked one of the sergeants in the side of the head, knocking him unconscious for more than 2 minutes. His sentencing is set for 3:30 this afternoon. An update now, the man accused of a fatal hit and run on East Washington Avenue is being held on a $250,000 cash bail. 44-year-old Jason Natcone of Oregon is facing 11 felony counts, including first-degree reckless homicide. A 71-year-old Chicago man was killed and his wife was injured in that August crash. A 15-year-old Sun Prairie High School student could face charges for making terroristic threats and obstruction. A week ago, she called 911 to report 2 girls in the bathroom were talking about shooting up the school. She said one of them had a gun. Authorities determined those claims were made up. In Rock County, students in the school district of Milton are facing consequences for what district officials call an offensive image. Interim Superintendent Richard Dahman sent an email to parents yesterday telling them about the incident. He wouldn't comment on what that offensive image was, instead saying that their #1 priority is to maintain a safe and positive learning environment for all students. Also noting that, quote, "We are confident that our school district and administration have promptly investigated this incident and addressed it." News 3 Now received this tip to our newsroom that students were photographed making a swastika shape with their bodies. The district is not commenting any further than it being an offensive image. All right, 6:07 this morning. Alzheimer's disease is ranked as the 6th leading cause of death in the U.S., and there is no cure right now. That's why hundreds of people across Dane County are getting ready to walk this weekend. Christina Laurie joins us live from Memorial High School with this story. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Josh. For many of the folks who will come out here to Memorial High School Sunday morning, this cause is personal and very emotional. There are more than 50 million people right now living with Alzheimer's, but by the year 2050, that number is expected to triple. It's a condition that, unfortunately, Dave, you learned well. Your mother died of Alzheimer's. She passed away this summer. What were some early signs that you found?
Well, what in talking with my siblings in terms of how long she's actually had been suffering before she passed in July, we really noticed things a decade ago to 12, 15 years ago. The forgetfulness, the types of things that you normally associate with Alzheimer's, but also irritability, change in mood, asking a lot of questions repeatedly. Those are sort of the early signs. And it's really a situation where you lose your loved one much earlier than they actually pass.
So it is very difficult for people that are living with a loved one with that disease, and her passing kind of compelled you to take action.
Well, it did. It was serendipitous. I have a longtime college friend, known him for 30 years. We were together here at UW, and he is a national fund developer for the National Alzheimer's Association, and we were talking earlier this year about my mother's condition, and he was telling me about things that were happening with the statewide association here in Wisconsin, the board and whatnot. And after my mother died on July 26th, and I was named to the board on August 1st. So it was a call to action for me to try to help the association move forward.
And thank you for everything you're doing with the association. You'll be out here Sunday morning walking, and anyone at home can come. You can join, or you can donate to a team like Dave's. He's his team's captain this year. Registration opens at 8:30 this Sunday morning. We have links on our website of how you can sign up as well, Josh, and I'll be out here too.
Yeah, News 3 Now, a proud sponsor of this event. Christina Laurie live for us this morning. Christina, thank you very much. Coming up on 10 minutes past 6 o'clock right now, and still ahead for us on a Friday morning, our film critic Will Loper is previewing a movie that takes a look at how a stand-up comedian becomes Batman's greatest enemy. But first, Hattie's tracking your weekend forecast that includes some sun, but also more rain. I know, a bummer there. That's when News 3 Now this morning continues. Stay with us.
This portion.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. Starting off on kind of a crisp note this morning. Definitely feeling like fall, but at least you don't need to pack the umbrella today. That's the good news. Take a look at our current conditions here in Madison. We're holding steady at 45 degrees with a light north wind at 7 miles an hour. Dew points are down in the 40s, low 40s that is, so if skies clear over the next hour or so, temperatures will likely drop just a little bit more here in Madison. But that cloud cover is really keeping us a little bit warmer this morning than we would be. Some spots are down in the 30s. Take a look at the low temperature trend over the next 10 days. Normal lows this time of the year are in the low 40s. By the end of next week, normal lows will be back in the upper 30s. So really starting to get chilly at night. This is the time of year that we typically see our first frost that normally occurs right around October 11th. But here in Madison, the earliest that's ever happened, September 12th. And the latest, back in 1946, we didn't have a frosty temperature until November 12th, so a full month after the normal first frost. So we'll see where this year stacks up, but some of those nighttime lows getting down into the 30s by next weekend. We could see some frosty conditions. This morning, it's really about the cloud cover. Where clouds are, temperatures are in the mid-40s. Where skies have cleared, temperatures are dropping into the low 40s and 30s. You see a little bit of cloud cover right along the Mississippi River Valley, especially towards La Crosse this morning, but some clearing in between. 48 in La Crosse, 45 here in Madison. Milwaukee benefits from the lake this time of the year. They're still at 49 as well. But in between, let's take a closer look at some of those temperatures in southern Wisconsin. It's down to 41 in Platteville this morning. Monroe is only at 42, and in the Dells, it's 39 degrees. Here's a look at our winds. They're pretty light from the north, 5 to 10 miles per hour right now, and they'll stay relatively light through the day today. They may shift around to the northeast just a little bit heading into the afternoon, but otherwise a pretty nice day. Partly sunny skies for the afternoon hours with highs in the mid to upper 50s. As we head through the evening hours, if you're going to a football game tonight, plan on pretty chilly conditions with partly cloudy skies. Temperatures should drop rapidly. By the time the game ends, we'll be in the 40s. And then rain is expected to move in by early Saturday morning. If you're headed to the Badger game tomorrow at Camp Rando, bring the rain gear. It looks to be wet across all of southern Wisconsin through Saturday right into the evening hours. Not going to dry out until late Saturday night. Total rain is likely to be anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to about 3/4 of an inch. But this particular model indicating that some spots under those heavier thunderstorms may even get a little bit more than that. We definitely don't need the rain. We need a chance to dry out. Mother Nature is going to provide us that opportunity starting on Sunday. Looks like a pretty nice week next week. Lots of sunshine and dry conditions. Temperatures should be around 60 degrees. Some indications, though, Josh, that we could cool down as we head into the end of the week. Now let's get a look at those first alert traffic maps this morning. We'll send it over to Jason Stone for all the details. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. No issues on the Beltline so far, and interchanges are mostly clear. Lines are forming at the intersections on Verona Road. No delays at this time. All routes heading into Madison and around Dane County are running smooth. And commuters are making their way downtown and are driving around the Isthmus and campus without any trouble. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Jason and Hattie, thank you both very much. So Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, and Jared Leto have all played the iconic villain Joker, and this weekend in theaters, Joaquin Phoenix is putting on the clown makeup. The movie is Joker, and here with a preview is our film critic, Will Loper. A lot of talk about this one.
There is. It's kind of stirring up a lot of controversy, and so far receiving good reviews, though. Is it really worth yet another actor playing this evil nemesis? Well, let's take a look.
3 hours and 50...
Arthur, I have some bad news for you. This is the last time we'll be meeting.
You don't listen, do you? You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts.
Arthur Fleck is a clown for hire in Gotham, aspiring to be a stand-up comic and, well, maybe Batman's greatest enemy along the way.
For my whole life, I didn't know if I even really existed. But I do. And people are starting to notice.
Joker is rated R.
Yeah. When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
Preview kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies a little bit.
Yeah, I did not enjoy editing that, just seeing Joaquin creep it up. Ugh.
Yeah, might not be for everyone.
No, certainly not. But he's getting Best Actor buzz for the Oscars, so he pulls it off. You kind of do wonder, after Heath Ledger did such a great job with it, we really have to revisit it, but
yeah,
he's pulling it off.
It'll be interesting to see how it does. You'll have a review Monday?
I sure will, yep.
All right, Will, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, believe it or not, it was about this time last year we saw the first flakes of snow falling in Madison. Yes, I said snow. It's a reminder that just about anything can happen when it comes to October weather in Wisconsin. Chris Reese is here to tell us what we can expect this month coming up. But first, it's not cold enough for snow quite yet, but things are feeling a little cooler outside. The kids definitely will need a jacket this morning. Hattie's in next with a chilly bus stop forecast on News 3 Now this morning. 6:22 on their Friday morning, TGIF. We made it to the end of the week, and it has been a dreary one so far this week. And Hattie, I can't help but notice that the days are getting shorter.
Yeah, we're like mole people now. We do almost our entire shift in the dark, right?
Yeah.
Look at this sky camera shot behind us. This is the Edgewater Sky Cam. With clouds in place, we're not even barely able to see any daylight right now. So definitely noticing that difference in the daylight. Take a look at our temperatures this morning. We are in the 40s and 30s across southern Wisconsin. But let's look at the sunset calendar. We turn the clocks back in just a few weeks, the first Sunday in November. So while today's sunrise is 6:58, in a week it's after 7 o'clock. But then after we turn the clocks, it goes back to around 6:30. But take a look at what happens on the other side of the day. In just a month, our sunset time is before 5 p.m. So a lot of people not liking those earlier sunset times. So far, we've lost almost 4 hours of daylight. We have another couple of hours to go, almost 3 hours to go before we get to the shortest day of the year. That's December 21st. So clouds in some spots this morning, making it still feel pretty dark. There is some clearing though across parts of southern Wisconsin. Skies are clear in the Dells. Take a look at temperatures there. 41 degrees, 45 here in Madison, 41 as well in Platteville. So definitely a chilly start to the day today. Temperatures are going to climb a little bit. We should have some sunshine, especially for the afternoon hours. Back to around 53 by lunchtime, 57 as you head home from school this afternoon. Have a wonderful Friday.
All right, Hattie, thank you very much. We've officially passed the 3,000 mark in our Coats for Kids drive. Thank you to everyone who's helping us finish strong. If you have a coat or winter accessory that you haven't donated, you don't have much time. Please get your items to Clinky Cleaners by tomorrow so they can be cleaned and sent to the CAC for distribution. For those who want to get a hold of a coat, our distribution starts October 15th at the Community Action Coalition's Free Clothing Center. Distribution will run through the 27th, and you can see the hours right there on the screen. We also have this up on our website, channel3000.com. So October is a month where we can see just about every kind of weather in Wisconsin. One of those people that really likes when we see those flakes flying. Chris Reese is joining us this morning to lay it all out for us, Chris. No snow yet, but you're already excited for it. I can see it.
Yeah, no snow yet, but we'll be looking as we go through the next month and some change for sure. I want to take a moment, though, to jump back towards the month of September just because of how warm September really was. There was one cool stretch throughout September. That went from the 4th to about the 8th. We had one average day in September. That was September 9th. Then every single day through the rest of the month, not just above average, but well above average. In fact, September 30th was 18 degrees warmer than what it typically should have been. Now, things started out normal for the month of September. Our normal high on September 1st is 77. That's exactly what happened. But by the end of September, the normal high is 66. On September 30th, we reached 85 degrees. That was the warmest day of the month. The coldest low was on September 5th at 48. Get this, though. Typically, we pick up a little over 3 inches of rain. We picked up nearly 7 inches of rain. So it wasn't just a warm month, but it was also a very wet month. But there's a new month in town. Josh, this one is specifically for you with the dancing emojis there. It is October around here, and that means we are looking forward to how things begin to change as we go through your fall. Now, typically for October 1st, we see temperatures in the mid-60s for highs. We were in the mid-70s this year. So October 1st and October 2nd were above normal. Yesterday, slightly below normal. But by the end of the month, our temperatures begin to slide down. We begin to see those average highs in the low 50s and those average lows into the mid-30s. We also average about 2.4 inches of rain. That already came. That was on October 1st. So we're going to be above average in terms of precipitation. We also average half an inch of snow as we go through the month of October. But let's take a moment to focus on how much rain we've seen already, 3.38 inches of rain, all on the first 3 days of the month. But then we will see a chance to dry out. That's certainly some good news. This is all as some colder air begins to work its way down from Canada. This means some cold shots will be coming our direction. Whether or not there are any snowflakes associated with that, That remains to be seen. I wouldn't hold my breath. But nonetheless, we are certainly going to see this up and down pattern kind of stick around for a while. And what that means for us is that we're actually going to likely see temperatures somewhat below normal as we go through the middle of the month. But the good news with this pattern is also we're looking drier than normal as we go through the middle of the month. And that's good news for all the folks who've been dealing with the flooding. But yeah.
I can't help but remember this time last year, I was with you the morning we saw the first snowflakes in Madison. I've never seen you like a kid in a candy store.
I still have video from that day that I look at if I'm in a bad mood and just need to cheer myself up. I'm not seeing the snowflakes yet, but trust me, I've been looking, and some of the models yesterday actually started to show some of the first snowflakes of the season. I can't put any stock in that. I don't buy it. But
I know northern Minnesota, they had like an inch and a half, I think, already.
They sure did. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that day. I'm ready.
Expect the unexpected in Wisconsin. Yeah. Chris, thank you very much. Still ahead for us, we've got the top 3 things you need to know this morning before heading out the door, and we're also previewing an event that aims to help the families of Alzheimer's patients. You're watching News 3 Now this morning. We thank you for that, and we'll be right back.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good Friday morning, everyone, and thanks for staying with us on this Friday, October 4th. I'm Josh Breiter. Lee Lynchide has the morning off. We'll get to meteorologist Hattie McLean's forecast here in just a moment, but first, let's get to the top 3 things you need to know on this Friday morning. The White House could send a letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi as soon as today, saying the administration won't recognize the impeachment inquiry until the House holds a full vote. President Trump says he now wants China to investigate Joe Biden and his son, publicly stating what he's being accused of by House Democrats in their impeachment inquiry. To our second story now, students in Darlington are getting another day off of school this morning as police there say they don't expect to open the Main Street Bridge until this weekend. Right now, the water from the Pecatonica River is receding, but it's moving slower than they'd like. The bridge is the main access point from one side of the city to the other. And finally, the roundabout at Nesbitt Road and Fitch-Rona Road will officially open to traffic today. The old intersection at Nesbitt and Fitch-Rona was closed in July so the roundabout could be built. It was supposed to open earlier this week, but that got pushed back due to all of the rainy weather. The hope is the roundabout will help cut down on traffic backups in the area by keeping the traffic moving. All right, those are your top 3 things you need to know this morning, and Hattie's here with your out-the-door weather and traffic. Good morning, Hattie.
Good morning, Josh. And what you need to know is that you can leave the umbrella at home today. Woo! That's the good news. Yeah, we have clouds in the area, though. You can see a little sliver of daylight at the horizon, but mostly cloudy skies here in Madison. That's actually keeping our temperatures a little bit warmer overnight. We were down to 44, but with the clouds moving in, we're back up to 45 degrees. In the Dells, it's 41, the same in Platteville. 42 in Monroe. Those are some of the colder spots this morning. Take a look at your forecast as you head out the door this morning. You'll want to grab those sunglasses, though, because partly sunny skies are expected for the afternoon. Despite the chilly start, not a bad afternoon with highs in the upper 50s later on today. Now let's get a look at those first alert traffic maps. We'll see if anything has changed here in southern Wisconsin. Still dealing with those road closures in Darlington and near Blanchardville on Highway 78 due to flooding. Here in Madison, looking a little busy on eastbound or East Washington as you head inbound this morning. No major delays, though, on the Beltline right now. And that's your first alert traffic.
Hattie, thank you very much. It is 6:34 right now, and 50 million people worldwide have dementia right now. And in the next 30 years, that number is expected to triple. Alzheimer's is the most common form of the disease, and that's what is bonding people across Dane County this weekend. Christina Laurie joins us live this morning from Memorial High School to explain. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Josh. Right now, there is no cure for Alzheimer's, and that is why we walk. The tagline for this year's race is that there is a survivor out there. We can show the shirt. The fighting for that first survivor. You've probably seen the commercials. They're on TV as well. So what do people need to know about this weekend's walk?
Yeah, so registration and check-in will be from 8:30 until 10 a.m. We'll also have a kids zone, some resource tables for people to check out. We have a lot of donated light breakfast goodies, so come on out early. The lines do get a little bit long, so we do try to get everybody through by 10 a.m. And then we start our Promise Garden ceremony where a few people talk about their connection to the disease, and then at about 10:15, the walk begins.
And it's a pretty emotional event for team captains like Dave. This is your first walk, and you recently lost your mom, as we explained in the 6 o'clock hour. So what are you looking forward to most this weekend?
I'm looking forward to just experiencing it for the first time, connecting with people that have gone through or are going through the same process. And the thing that I have discovered is that just in talking with people in my network, how many people have been touched by this disease. They either have someone in their family that has passed or going through it, and so it really connects people and connects organizations, and that's what the walk is all about.
Absolutely. All of us here this morning have been touched by Alzheimer's. What advice would you have for anyone who might have recently had a loved one or friend diagnosed with the disease?
I would say just seek the resources that we have to offer. You can go online at alz.org, and we have, simplistic things as knowing the 10 signs. So if you're starting to see in a mother, father, or grandfather some of the signs, you can kind of look at that, but also reach out to us. That's what we're here for. We have a 24/7 helpline as well. So reach out and get the help that you need and maybe deserve, and maybe you can even join a support group or things of that sort. That's what we're here for.
Thank you so much for being here with us this morning. We have links to all of those resources on our website, channel3000.com. So hopefully people at home will find those valuable as well. And you're welcome to come out here and join us on race day. News 3 is a proud sponsor of this year's Walk to End Alzheimer's, Josh.
All right, Christina Laurie reporting live for us this morning. Christina, thank you very much. Coming up on 6:37 right now, and coming up in the morning sprint, we have the latest on breaking news from an overnight fire that caused hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage at a bus barn. But first, it is the weekend in the 608. We've got a first look at some of the events we think you should check out. That's when News 3 Now this morning is back. All right, 6:40 is your time, and we always ask you to share your morning with us. And Jennifer Harris took this picture of some morning storms in Ridgeway, Wisconsin. We've had a lot of storms recently, so thank you so much for sharing. Beautiful shot right there. We'd love to see what your morning looks like. All you have to do is take a picture and post it to our Channel 3000 Facebook page, so Lee and I can pick out our favorites and air them right here on the morning show. Well, it's just about the weekend here in the 608, and there's a few exciting events we think you should check out, starting with today. It is National Taco Day, so of course it's time to Taco Bout, where you can go with your family and friends to celebrate this weekend. Taco Bell is offering and known to offer free tacos on this day, but there are a lot of other local restaurants getting in on the fun as well. You can go traditional and visit places like Taqueria, Guadalajara, or La Brasa, or you can also try a specialty taco from Pascual's Cantina or Tex Tubbs Taco Palace. We have a list of more taco joints in Madison up on our website right now, channel3000.com. The Madison-based band Get Back Wisconsin will be performing a faithful live performance of the Beatles' album Abbey Road. That performance will honor the 50th anniversary of the album's release. The concert is set for tomorrow night at the Barrymore. And it's going to be another early morning for tailgaters this weekend. The Badgers are set to take on Kent State at Camp Randall. The undefeated Badgers hope to keep the momentum going with an 11 a.m. start tomorrow. All right, 6:41 is your time this morning, and it is a chilly morning at the bus stop, but at least it's dry. Hattie says we don't need the umbrellas today, so there's some good news. She's tracking your weekend forecast next, which does include the return for rainfall, unfortunately. But first, it is October 4th, and we want to say happy birthday to Caroline, Molly, and all the other kids turning 3 today. Thanks for waking up early and celebrating with us on News 3 Now this morning. 6:45 right now on a Friday morning. Some clouds out there, but hey, looks like some hints of some sunshine out there to start the day. Hattie, some good news to start off the weekend.
That is true, Josh, and at least there isn't any rain falling from those clouds, so that's another good thing. Today will be dry, but if you are headed to Camp Randall tomorrow, pack the rain gear, or better off just wear it, because you're likely going to see some rain throughout the day on Saturday. Temperatures will be in the 50s, so not terribly warm. There also is the threat for an isolated thunderstorm across southern Wisconsin. Winds will be strong from the south at 10 to 20 miles an hour, so a little bit less than perfect conditions for a game. Rain totals through the day on Saturday. Again, it starts early in the morning and continues on and off through most of the day, anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to about 3/4 of an inch in most spots. This particular model, though, zooming in on some higher totals through the Wisconsin River Valley. That is possible with a stronger thunderstorm tomorrow, but no severe weather is expected. Take a look at the radar map this morning, and luckily things are much drier across Wisconsin. We do not need any more rain. No rain around the area at all today, so we have a dry forecast for us. Some showers and isolated thunderstorms moving across Kansas. Again, they're moving in our direction, but still quite a ways away, so we get to keep the dry weather through the day today. If you are flying out today, no delays here in Madison or across any of the major airports across the country. Here's what your travel weather looks like for today. Cool along the northern tier of the United States. 45 in Portland. We're looking at 65 in New York with some sunshine. That heat is confined to the extreme southeastern corner of the United States, where temperatures still flirting with triple digits in Atlanta. New Orleans topping at 93, Dallas in the 90s as well. So unfortunately for the south, the extreme heat and humidity continues. Much more comfortable for the Great Lakes region. We will see some sunshine today with highs only in the 50s. And 50s will be nice this morning, but we're down in the 40s. 45 in Madison. Minneapolis is at 46. Des Moines is at 43 degrees. A little closer look at southern Wisconsin will show you that some spots are even a little cooler than that. 41 in the Dells, Mineral Point, and Platteville this morning, where skies are clear. It's a little bit chilly. 45 with some cloud cover here in the capital city. Your future track forecast shows a light northeasterly wind today, with temperatures slowly climbing through the 40s back into the low 50s by lunchtime. Partly sunny skies this afternoon with highs only around 55 in the Dells. We'll top at 57 here in Madison, maybe 56 in Monroe. It'll stay dry through the evening, though, if you're headed to a Friday night football game. Temperatures at game time, start time rather, mid-50s, but we'll drop into the 40s by the end of the game. So bring some extra layers tonight. That rain moves in then early tomorrow morning and continues on and off through the day Saturday, right into Saturday evening. Temperatures, though, will at least still be in the 50s. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We have drier weather settling in on Sunday, and it looks like it sticks around for several days into next week. So a nice stretch of dry, comfortable weather. Speaking of comfortable, Maverick in Madison, looking pretty at home there, all stretched out on the bed.
I wish I was in the bed too. Still wrapped up. It was hard getting out of bed when it's getting these chilly mornings like this.
Yeah, if you left your window open last night, you might have been a little chilly this morning.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Hattie, thank you.
You're welcome.
Stay with us for the morning sprint up next. It is 6:51, time for the morning sprint as we give you the most local news to start your Friday. We begin this morning with breaking news from overnight. School bus routes will continue as scheduled this morning after a bus barn fire started late last night. The fire started on Schuster Road right off of US 14 in Fitchburg just before midnight. The barn and buses are a total loss this morning with more than $300,000 in damage. Arrangements were made for all required routes today. Students in Darlington are getting another day off of school this morning as Darlington police say they don't expect to open the Main Street Bridge until this weekend. Right now, the water from the Pecatonica River is receding, but it's moving slower than they'd like. The bridge is the main access point from one side of the city to the other.
No rain in our forecast today, but a chilly start. Temperatures down in the low 40s in some spots, mid 40s here in Madison. We're looking at high temperatures in the upper 50s though this afternoon, right around 57 degrees. Winds will stay light from the east-northeast all afternoon.
Hattie, thank you. Farmers are being delayed from harvesting thanks to that flooding. 2019 has been a wet year, which has thrown off the entire timeline for crops. The late start they got in planting the crops this spring is now starting to come full circle this fall. Farmers say quality reductions will lead to a financial loss.
Alzheimer's disease right now is ranked as the 6th leading cause of death in the U.S., and there isn't a cure. That's why hundreds of people across Dane County are getting ready to walk this weekend. This Sunday is the annual Walk to End Alzheimer's. More than 700 participants are hoping to hit their goal of raising $240,000. For many of us, the cause is personal. More than 50 million people around the world have dementia, and in the next 30 years, that number is expected to triple. You can help raise money for research at Memorial High School this weekend. Registration starts at 8:30 Sunday morning and the walk begins at 10:15.
Christina, thank you. Breaking news overnight. The government in Hong Kong is invoking emergency powers in the latest conflict between the government and protesters. They're enforcing a rarely used law from colonial times, banning masks at rallies. Protesters have frequently used masks to conceal their identities from the government and protect themselves from tear gas. The White House could send a letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi as soon as today, saying the administration won't recognize the impeachment inquiry until the House holds a full vote. President Trump says he now wants China to investigate Joe Biden and his son, publicly stating what he is being accused of by House Democrats in their impeachment inquiry. In Rock County, students in the school district of Milton are facing consequences for what district officials call an offensive image. Interim Superintendent Richard Dahman emailed parents yesterday about the incident. We received a tip to our newsroom that students were photographed making a swastika shape with their bodies, but the district has not commented any further than it being an offensive image. A 15-year-old Sun Prairie High School student could face charges for making terroristic threats and obstruction. A week ago, she called 911 to report 2 girls in the bathroom were talking about shooting up the school. She said one of them had a gun. Authorities determined those claims were made up. Police say the suspect in a shooting that left 1 person dead and 2 others injured near Wausau is expected to make his first court appearance today. The investigation started with a fire at around 8:15 in the morning yesterday in an apartment complex in Schofield. About 15 minutes later, the shooting was reported at a cemetery just a mile away. Police say the 2 incidents are connected. Jacob Hellebrand Bell, the 22-year-old man seen on dashcam video kicking an officer in the head, is set to be sentenced today. Hellebrand Bell pleaded no contest to a felony charge of battery to a law enforcement officer back in June. The incident itself happened in April of last year. He was seen hitting and kicking officers as he was being handcuffed. Hellebrand Bell kicked 1 officer in the side of the head, knocking him unconscious. The man accused in a fatal hit and run on East Washington Avenue is being held on a $250,000 cash bail. 44-year-old Jason Natcone of Oregon is facing 11 felony counts, including first-degree reckless homicide. A 71-year-old Chicago man was killed and his wife was injured in that August crash. Janesville's newest city bus is on its way home this week. The city's transit director tells the Janesville Gazette that by this time next year, the city will have replaced 15 of its 17 buses. The new ones will produce fewer emissions than the old diesel ones, and the city says they should be more reliable and efficient. The roundabout at Nesbitt Road and Fitch-Rona Road will officially open to traffic today. The old intersection at Nesbitt and Fitch-Rona was closed in July, so the roundabout could be built. Now, it was supposed to open earlier this week, but that got pushed back due to all of the rain. The hope is the roundabout will help cut down on traffic backups in the area by keeping the traffic moving. Speaking of traffic, it is 6:56. Let's turn it over to Jason Stone with a final look at your first alert traffic.
The westbound Beltline is congested at Stoughton Road through Monona Drive. All other lanes are at the posted speed limit. And John Nolan is slow moving at Rim Rock near the World Dairy Expo. Tied up at North Shore Drive heading downtown. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Jason Stone with the utterly fantastic pun on a Friday morning.
Oh, it is Friday. Love it. We have kind of a cloudy start here in Madison. Here's the view from the Edgewater Skycam looking at downtown Madison, the capital. A little bit of a break in the cloud cover there right along the horizon. Look for partly sunny skies as we head towards the afternoon. Despite a chilly start, it should turn out to be a pretty nice afternoon with highs at 57 degrees. Best part about today is that we don't have any rain in the forecast. Unfortunately, we do have rain in the area for Saturday, but Sunday dries out once again with high temperatures in the low 60s. Looks like that dry weather, Josh, sticks around right as we head into next week.
Looking forward to that sunshine, Hattie. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Go make it a fantastic Friday and have a wonderful weekend. We'll, of course, see you back here on Monday.